Alex Mitten, would you like to kick us off?
Afternoon, Robert. Can we just kick off with the usual and the team yesterday, please?
No news from last game, so it's the same players available.
Perfect. Of course, it's been a season of stumbling blocks, a few hurdles along the way. But you've mentioned before that you've learned stuff from this season, and normally to get to the top you have to go through these periods of struggle. So just in general, really, what have been the key learnings you've learned this season? Maybe not just for yourself, but for the squad as well.
I think when you look into this season and the expectations perhaps from the first season, that we were not perhaps ready to take the next step this season, both like an organization and in the staffing group, but also the players. The way we play is a difficult way of playing football. It's a bravery where you need to be good on the ball, you need to build relationships, you need to collaborate to make sure we can win games. And I think losing a few key players and key staff members and taking the step the way we want to play have made us lose a few games because of the bravery in the game we play. So I think it's a learning curve where we need to make sure we adapt and make sure we can still compete in games. But also make sure we take the next step now with these 2 years together and make sure next season we can play our style, but also be much sharper in game management and where we should improve right now. So you can learn a lot from mistakes. You can learn a lot from this season as well. But together with the first season, we kind of know where we are and what we need to improve on, and it's different stuff. But definitely it's a learning curve.
And you mentioned just there about losing some key staff, and of course after this match, we'll lose another key member of the back team with Vicky, Jeepson. You mentioned it a bit on Sunday post-match about kind of how big of an impact that will be, but just in general, how crucial has she been to you for like moving to England? Because obviously it's a lot different to when it was at Hacken.
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't really have so much knowledge about the Women's Super League, to be honest, and the pitches and the home and away games and everything and the structure with you guys and everything. So she's been massive to give me the support I need to come into this league in this country. And then obviously she knows the players. She's a very experienced coach. So she's been a very, very good partner in discussing stuff from after games and so on as well. I think she's, though, is very high quality head coach potential. So I think her coming to the US and actually managing a team and coaching a team is a good step for her. I think she's been in this league for a long time. I think she's going to have a massive chance to go over there and do this. And for us now, we lose a good member of staff, but we also do it in the right timing. She leaves after the season, which means that you can go into a new season with the knowledge about that. I think the main thing this season was that we lost a lot of key staff around Christmas, which is really hard to replace and adapt to. So I really hope that Vicky will enjoy the life in the US.
And just on that, have you had time to think about maybe what you want from the person who's going to replace Jeepson? Would you look for someone that's had experience in the WSL or anything?
I mean, we will assess everything with this season when the season is over, but we kind of know what we need to be really sharp at, how we're going to play and how we're going to be brave and how we want to make sure we can take the next step with this team. So, and I know there's a lot of good coaches out there, so we're going to have that after the season. So it's too early to speak about that now.
Thank you. Best of luck for the weekend.
Cheers.
Emma Smith, BBC.
You obviously mentioned TV before. I wanted to ask also about Lana Bever, who's obviously been out with injury for some time. I just wondered what her progress is and whether or not she might be fit to come back for the Euros with Switzerland.
Yeah, she's on the grass now doing individual recons. So she's actually having football boots on and running and doing that, but not collectively. So the plan is to make sure she gets back and can play in the Euros. So that's what we're trying to help her with and make sure we support her with. And the plan looks like it's a good possibility for her to play in the Euros.
Thank you. And in terms of the team for the final game, it's obviously been a difficult run. How do you go about sort of inspiring the team to get a more positive result in this final game and go into the summer with a bit of positivity after a difficult half of this season?
I think we a few games back we started to do a little bit more measurement on how we play and how we want to look in the games, and I think it was after the Brighton game which we were not happy with the performance and the result, and from that game to now, we have improved in how we play and how we want to look like, both in and out of possession. But we're going to push a little bit more on winning this game against Everton, even if we always want to win, but we're going to push even more to try to find a way to win against Everton, because you want to go on the break with a good performance, absolutely, but we are really want to win a game as well. So we're going to try to find a way to get a good result as well. But then, the league will end, the table will stop, and then we go on and restart, and then we start all over again. So, but we're going to really try to find a way to win the game on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex.
Cheers.
Thanks, Chris.
Hi, Robert. Hope you're well. Just wondering what you've made of Everton this season. Of course, they're only 4 points ahead of you in the WSL League.
Yeah, I think Brian has been there for a few years, and I think they always have a very tactical approach of different flexibility in that. I think he's done some good stuff with that club, and I think they've had a lot of injuries last season. It looks like they also have invested more now since Christmas, so I think they are looking quite strong. There is one of those teams in around us that we want to beat and be better than. But right now they have had a better spring season than us. But a club with high potential, and it looks like they're going to invest even more for the next season. So there's one of those clubs that we want to make sure we beat.
Just wondered also what plans you put in place for next season.
I think when you look at the club, like we are getting a new CEO in, which will mean that the CEO will have a big impact on the next steps to make sure we improve in both sections of the field. If you look at the women's department, what we want to do, we want to make sure we are getting even better in the recruitment, to make sure we have the technical director, head of recruitment. We want to make sure we are really sharp in how we recruit players that fits the way we want to do and can make them be up running quicker when we sign them, so we make sure we can compete there. We want to keep developing the young players like Jessica Nass, Ella Morris, Lana Gunning-Williams, but also the academy players, who is the ready one to step up and be in the squad next season. We want to make sure we find ways from the identity we have, how we play, to make sure that we win more games next season. And that's going to be a part of tactical approach, but also key signings. So we're going to look at what's the key positions we need to sign players to make sure we can compete better next season. Not quantity, we want to make sure we sign quality players to make sure we strengthen the team so we can be better next season. And then it's the staff, how can we improve the environment around the players to make sure we maximize their performance and development. So we're going to look at what kind of recruitments do we need to add to the staff and around that. But there's going to be a massive work to do, but I think we like I said, we learn a lot this season, so we're going to make sure we use that to take the good decisions this summer to make sure we come back stronger next season.
Okay. Just wondered whether you could talk a little bit about Ella Morris and Molly Bartlett. Of course, they're up for Wolves.
Yeah, I think they are two great role models. First of all, because they are great footballers, and I think Ella Morris, that's one of the best part with this season, her journey and how she's taking steps, both as a character but player. Her reward is obviously something that I think she deserve very much. Molly is the difference of being a really good player, but also being a role model with mental health issues, and how you can be a very strong footballer living with that and developing through that. I think she's one of the coolest people I've met, the way she can actually perform every time and take steps and dare to speak out about it. So great role model, and I think she deserves that reward as well.
Lastly, from the men's team, have such a huge game this season in Norway. What would your message be to the squad and what the problem?
I mean, I'm going to wish them so much good luck tonight, and I know that they're going to do a good performance, and they have a really good chance to go for that final. And I think no matter what you say about Scandinavia and up north, I know that the quality in Tottenham Hotspur men's team is so high. So I'm just going to enjoy that game and see when we hopefully get the final, and then we can finish the season this year on a high with the men's team.
Great talking to you this evening. Thanks very much, and best of luck for Saturday.
Cheers.
That's Chris. Dan Pentland.
Hey, Robert, hope you're well. Obviously, last week Everton took on Brighton, and Brighton, like yourselves, they were on a bit of a sticky run, and they obviously got there, attacked the game, and got the result. So, how much do you kind of look into that, and how much kind of confidence and heart can you take that Brighton that went there, on a winless run and went and turned that around?
I think it's always tricky in this league because the games is so competitive in all angles, and then all of a sudden a team win 2 games and then they are up there again. The negative for us this year or after Christmas is that we haven't won those games, and that's why we are in 10th position, but we only, I think, 6 points or something like that up to top 5. So we need to go to this game without whatever everyone else have done and make sure we keep doing what we're doing good, which is actually some good stuff in possession. We're creating chances. We are much better in defending. We conceded goals on set pieces the last game. So there's stuff going on that is actually improving us. But now we also need to make sure we actually deliver some quality finishings and some really good sharpness in the defending, because it's not luck. It's actually come down to quality. And even if we say that we are getting better and better, we need to find ways to be really sharp in both penalty boxes, to be honest. So no matter what other teams have done against them or this and that, it doesn't really matter. We need to make sure we show up on Saturday and go everything we can to win this game, because it's going to be a much more fun trip home and start of the vacation to have at least that win, even if we are not happy with this season.
Obviously, there's work to go on in the summer, but if you look 12 months from now, where would you want the team to be? What do you want them to achieve in the next 12 months?
It's a good question. One thing, if you look at the development of Tottenham Hotspur women's team and where we are right now, is we could probably have saved this season in the table to be top 6-5 by having 1-2 good games. But we are not consistent enough to make sure we can play the style we want and still win enough games. So when you summarize next season, I really want to make sure that we are best of the rest, if you say that. The top 4 is really big teams, so if we can compete against them as well, yes. But if we can be best of the rest and also make sure we have an identity and a style of play where we also are more consistent. And then if we're also nailing the recruitments, the overall around it, then I probably think if we're not reaching the Champions League next season, then perhaps we can sit here and discuss, now we're having the right direction, now we know what to do to take the next step for there. But it's hard for me to sit here when we are 10th in the table to say that we're going to break into the Champions League next season. But I really want to make sure we summarize these 2 years and make sure we take the steps into next season to make sure we, keep building against or towards the Champions League.
Thanks for everything this season. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Jacob.
Afternoon, Robert. On Sunday, either clock made some outstanding saves in the second half from Katherine Mccarron and to keep it at a 1-0 scoreline to Chelsea. What have you made of Kopp since her arrival in January?
She is one of the players we have really scouted for a long time, worked really hard to get in, because we think she has skills that fits the way we want to play and can make sure it can take us to the next level. I think most of the games she have played, she already have shown that, even if she's a new goalkeeper coming in a period of time where we're not really shining as a team. So that's a really good signing from Tottenham, and it's also really cool by Lisa to come in and perform in the way she's doing it. But then it also shows the potential for next season. So when she get a preseason with this team and everything, then I think we're going to take it to the next level, which is really good.
We saw Charlie Grant play on the wing against Chelsea on the weekend, a position she's featured in a few times towards the back end of the season. What do you make of her performance on the wing, and do you see her future at the club being more as a winger or as a fullback?
I see her as a fullback. I think that's her position. But sometimes when we want to find a game plan against some really good teams, she have a very good skills to make sure she can handle a wing position. So the defense work she does is amazing, what she's supporting Ella last game for. But also she's creating chances. She's almost scoring with a cross from Beth. She's having the one against Hannah Hampton as well. So she's creating a lot of chances by actually being so physical as well. But she's a fullback and she's training mostly as a fullback. But I know that I can use her as a winger sometimes.
You spoke before about Molly Bartlett. She is actually only one of 2 outfield players in the WSL this season to play every single minute. How impressive is it that she's managed this feat? Because availability is sometimes a bit of an underrated attribute.
Yeah, I think she had a great record before last season when she lost a few games that she have played a few years in a row as well. So she's very consistent in being able to play. Obviously, we have actually had quite tough competition on those positions, but her level of being consistently good is also very good. And I think even if we had a tough year, I think she's been one of those players who's been very consistent in and out of possession to make sure we show what the standard is and what we want to do. And if you add on her leadership, her role model thing around the pitch, I think that she's a very cool person.
And then finally for me, whilst it's been a tough season, what positives can you take out of it?
I think if you want to have the highs, you need to accept the lows. I think last season there was a lot of praise for us, and everything was going well. I think the good thing with having a bad season is that you develop a lot. You learn a lot about yourself, about the team, about the environment. In that, we also have some glimpse of what can be actually really good. I think you can tell that the players are buying into the identity we have. They want to play the certain style we do. Even if you say that we are stupid to play that style, they are buying into it and they want to do it. And I think to develop players, to make sure you take it to the next level through an identity, that's how you learn stuff. So if you don't do it this way, we will not reach the next level. Now we're actually trying to play our style even if we lose, and I hope that will be the benefit of next season, that we kept to the identity. And when the player grows better and when we have the key signings in this as well, then we're going to look very good and win more games. And then individually we have a few players that have had a really good season, to mention, for example, Ella Morris.
All right, thank you very much, Robert, and best of luck for Saturday.
Cheers.
Rachel?
Just one from me following on from that. I just want to know if there was a game this season where you felt like you really saw what you were trying to do and things kind of, clicked for you and I guess gave you that hope that everyone is buying into the idea. It's just getting everything to work at the right time.
I think this is different part of games where we can see where we are. I think Chelsea away, the first half was a brilliant football game between two great teams, but then we came out of that game with a 5-2 loss. But I think to play away against them, I think we came from a big loss before that, and to play that style, that was cool to see, even if it was a tough game in the end because we failed individually in some part of the game. I think you can speak how much you want, but when the players buying into what you want to do, like West Ham away after we have lost a lot of games that they're trying to play with bravery and attacking style, I think that shows the character of the players. I think the Chelsea last game home against them, that we do our style, we want to compete against them with our style. I think there's so many glimpses in the games that show me that we are actually on a journey that it also makes me believe in it. But then you have the different glimpses where you need to make sure we improve, because we cannot go another season like this. But if you want to have an identity, if the club want to play a certain style, and if we want to develop players to the top, we need to stick to the plan, even if you lose a few games. And then you need to learn from it, and then you need to perhaps also sign a few key players, and you need to get the right teams that we can train really well. But I think we are following a plan, and no matter what everybody says, it's going to take us to the top, and that's the plan from the beginning. And I've seen a lot of glimpses this season that we are on a journey with that, but we have a lot of work to be done though.